What's happening, everybody? I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. She was Philadelphia's first African American TV reporter, the one and only, the classy. Trudy Haynes passed away at the age of 95. It's a tribute tonight to the one and only Trudy Haynes. Trudy Haynes was an African American news reporter. She became the nation's first African American TV weather reporter when she was hired by WXYZ TV in Detroit in 1963. In 1965, she became the first African American TV news reporter for KYW TV in Philadelphia, where she continued into her retirement in 1999. So, exactly who was Trudy Haynes? We're going to talk about her right now in this wonderful tribute here on Tyrone Bowman Tonight. Trudy Haynes was born on the 23rd of November of 1926, and as I already stated, she passed away on the 7th of June of 2022. She was an African American news reporter. She became the nation's first African American TV weather reporter when she was hired by WXYZ TV in Detroit in 1963. In 1965, she became the first African American TV news reporter for KYW TV, now CBS 3 in Philadelphia, where she continued until her retirement in 1999. Haynes received an Emmy Award as well as 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards during her 33-year tenure at KYW TV, was hosting an online show called The Trudy Haynes Show at the time of her death. Haynes was born Gertrude Daniels in New York City on November 23rd, 1926, the only child of Marjorie and Percy Daniels. Haynes attended several schools but graduated from Forest Hills High School in Queens, Long Island. Racial segregation forced her to be bused to school. At Forest Hills, she became the only African American cheerleader on her high school team. In 1943, she was accepted to Howard University, where she studied sociology and psychology. Haynes earned her bachelor's degree in 1947. Prior to her work in news and network television, Haynes started with the Ophelia DeVore charm and modeling agency in the early 1950s. DeVore was known for being one of the first to market products to ethnic consumers and use black models during the age of racial segregation and the civil rights movements. Haynes stated in a 2004 interview with Contemporary Black Biography, modeling, quote, "Modeling was just fun. I wouldn't say it was my career, it was just something to do on the side and because I was in New York at the time," close quote. While associated with DeVore, Haynes appeared in several advertisements, most notably as the first African American to appear on poster advertisement for Lucky Strike cigarettes. Later, she became an instructor for other trainees, including Diane Carroll and Bea Richards. In 1956, Haynes took her first step towards her true calling in broadcasting, where she was hired by WCHB, a black-owned radio station in Inkster, Michigan. WCHB was the first black-owned radio station north of the Mason-Dixon line. The station was created and operated by the father of one of her college classmates. Haynes was initially hired as a receptionist. However, the director of the station took notice and asked if she wanted to be on a show. Accepting the position, Haynes was named WCHB Women's Editor and polished her interviewing skills while hosting a daily 90-minute program targeted to women. In 1963, several years after making her broadcast debut, Haynes left the world of radio and entered the homes of many when she became the first African American weather reporter on ABC's WXYZ TV in Southfield, Michigan, a suburb of Detroit. 2 years later, in 1965, Trudy Haynes continued to create milestones as she was hired as the first African American news reporter for KYW TV, now CBS 3, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where she worked until her retirement in 1999. When asked about her motivation in landing such a position, Haynes stated that, quote, because of the lack of black reporters in the industry, I was never influenced by anyone. My growth was simply brashness on my part, close quote. Haynes tells how she mustered up the courage to attain the position. Quote, I overheard a conversation that a station was looking for a replacement for one of the ladies that was going to leave. She was blonde and blue-eyed, and I called John Final, who had vision, and told him I was interested. He told me to come out. Actually, the brash one was him, to have the nerve to even interview a black woman, or a black person, excuse me. That's why it went. That's the way it went, close quote. In regards to the challenge she faced, particularly being a black and female seeking an on-air opportunity. When the industry was primarily dominated by white males, Haynes stated, quote, color is so obvious in this country. Every black feels it, every black person feels that, and every female that's breaking into an all-male situation probably feels the same way, close quote. In the 1970s, Trudy Haynes became the first African-American judge for the Miss American contest, where she continued to break down color barriers, firstly as a judge, and secondly by challenging the narrow standards of beauty that restricted the participation of African-American women in the contest. Her challenges opened doors for once barred women of color to become contestants and participate in this competition that had been formerly known as, quote, white only, close quote. She continued in the capacity as a judge for the Miss America contest for 3 years. Haynes stayed active in the media world following her retirement from KYW, based in Philadelphia. Haynes continued to freelance and make guest star appearances on several television shows, including PWPHL TV's Philly Connection, PAX TV's The Good News, and Comcast Cable, Let's Talk About It, and Trudy Haynes Discovers Delaware. Haynes established a production company, First Run Film/Video, where she generated her own show segments. She also became an active member of the Philadelphia Community Access Coalition, now known as PhillyCam, a lobbying group whose mission is to create public access cable channels in the Philadelphia area. In 2012, Haynes produced and developed a local television show whose audiences include the Philadelphia tri-state area, briefly on Comcast's Bounce, the first national African-American owned network based in Atlanta, Georgia. In 2013, Haynes, in collaboration with lifeandspiritonline.com, a NOTSCA network affiliate, moved her popular show from television to an online demand format where, quote, the Trudy Haynes Show, close quote, continues to inform its audience on current issues affecting the African-American community like health, education, and political issues. The show also features the local community and community events. In 2015, Haynes became co-host of Good Day, Good Health, a program created by Edward Groves of NOTSCA Network to inform the masses about medical breakthroughs and ways to live a healthier life. Its interactive format, ranging from broadcast television to online demand videos, engages viewers to become a part of the program through social media. While on KYW TV, Haynes' many stories were locally based. She reported on local politics, city hall, and school board meetings. As time went by, Haynes interviewed a wide range of people, from Philadelphia mayors and Pennsylvania governors to noted individuals such as Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., former President Lyndon Johnson, former Vice President of the United States Hubert Humphrey, and former Teamster Union Jimmy Hoffa. Later, she began to interview show business personalities. Her connections with the entertainment world led KYW to create a segment titled, quote, Trudy's Grapevine, close quote, where she reported celebrity gossip. Additionally, she hosted such local public affairs shows as, quote, A Sunny Side Up, close quote, and, quote, Sunday Morning Magazine, close quote. This tribute to the one and only Trudy Haynes will continue. Never surrender, never quit.